Debate Me channel here with a breaking news story. So I spent a lot of time last year doing a lot of analysis of propaganda techniques in left-wing and right-wing media. This year, I want to spend a lot of time testing the information that I've found in terms of the method of operation, the tactics that a lot of these guys use. So one of the ways I want to do that is in predicting what will and will not be covered. So for example, we see a lot of twisting and turning and ducking and diving by the new press secretary. Now, Trump press secretary, they were all over her, rightfully so. She was a liar. She was always hiding things and deflecting and playing games. But I predicted that basically they wouldn't do the same thing with the new press secretary, who started off kind of okay. I wasn't sure about her, but now I'm clear that she's pretty much a polite version of the last press secretary. So she ducks and dives and deflects, but does it in a more polite way in terms of topics that makes Biden look bad. So for example, the border stuff is a disaster. So in the beginning, she was very, oh, it's not a crisis, and it's playing games and stuff like that. And, you know, I knew that things were getting really bad with the border and that a lot of people on the left wouldn't want to talk about that. And surely enough, we've seen a lot of hesitation. I mean, things have gotten to a point where it's really bad. So now they're starting to kind of cover it, but I haven't really seen a lot of videos. Let's just put it this way. If Trump were president, you would see a ton of videos going after him about the border and what's happening and the cages. And we really don't see that same level of motivation right now. Right now, the border is a disaster. You can play games and talk about that the surge started before Biden was elected. You would be correct, but Biden is president. He's been president for some months now. And what the hell is he doing? I got no idea, right? All I hear is a lot of sophistry and, you know, games. And I really don't know what he's doing with the border. So he should definitely be getting attacked, and we don't see that. So anyway, so here's one of the, I'm going to try to do as many of these as possible, but here's one prediction I'm going to make. So we've already established off-limit topics for left-wing media and right-wing media. So bad cops, that's an off-limit topic for right-wing media. So cops can do whatever they want to do. They can be as corrupt as they want. And generally speaking, with few exceptions, the right-wing media, they aren't going to cover it. You're not going to see videos about, man, look what this cop did, right? They want to push a narrative of this Blue Lives Matter when really they don't really care about the cops, right? We've seen that. They don't care about the cops. Their viewers, a lot of them don't care about the cops. It's fake outrage, right? It's all political theater. But the bottom line is, off limit is to call out a bad cop. Always present cops in a positive light. So if a story like this comes out, they're not going to want to cover it unless they can victim blame. So if somehow, it's a situation where somebody got shot and they were resisting arrest, then they're going to try and distract and try to move the focus to, hey, you should have just followed instructions, and then ignore what the cop did. So a story like this, which seems clean, it's just a guy that was sexting with a minor. There's nothing to work with here. I mean, what are you going to talk about, right? The only thing to do here is to call out the cop for what he did, but that's off limits for right-wing media. So I'm predicting that this story will not be covered. The only way that it might be covered is if left-wing media goes a little bit too crazy with it and sensationalizes it and starts, taking an inch and going a mile with the type of thing. Then they'll try to dig into this and come up with excuses like, oh, he didn't even know. They're making it like he was intentionally talking to a minor, but how do you know this? Sometimes these young women, they look like women, and there'll be some excuse, right? But that is unlikely to occur. So I'm predicting that this story will not be covered. So Paris police demoted after having a sexual conversation with a minor. So of course that'll be downplayed. Oh, he had a sexual conversation. I mean, it's just a conversation. It's not like he raped her or did anything there. He just had a conversation. And what did the conversation like? What are the details? I mean, these are valid questions to ask, right? But they won't be asked from a genuine point of view. It's the apologist sort of mentality. So here are some of the details. Sergeant demoted to patrol officer, conduct on becoming of an officer. invest. You can pause and see what that says there. Allegations were reported of inappropriate messages with a minor female. Additional allegations of inappropriate conduct and comments in the presence of dispatcher. Illinois State Police conducted investigation. Appellate prosecutor declined to bring criminal charges. Discipline was imposed of a demotion to patrolman and 5 days off without pay. So here is the looks like that's the report. I don't know why the Zoom is not working for some reason. Oh, there we go. So we will follow this story and see if it gets picked up by conservative media, but I'm predicting it will not. Let me run my bias. I have a new bias tracker application that I built. We were checking the YouTube channels. Eventually I'm going to combine two of them, but this one checks social media. Well, YouTube is technically social media, but I got a new toy that I built to keep tabs on these propagandists on both sides of the aisle. Okay, so let's take a look for Paris. Okay, nothing in right-wing media. Nothing in left-wing media.
Is for political reasons. Governor, there were thousands of complaints of sexual abuse at migrant shelters during the Trump years. Not to say that what's going on now is right, but we couldn't find one instance of you complaining and calling that out when President Trump was president.
It's always an excuse. You see how they both do it? There we got Portland, again, setting buildings on fire. Look at the left, completely ignoring it. Right-wing media all over it. They both do the same stuff, but all anybody cares about is what the other side is doing, not their own side. So this has not been picked up yet by ground news. So I'll continue to follow this, but we'll see what happens with this. But I'm anticipating Steven Crowder, Tim Pool, Blaze TV, Newsmax, they're not going to cover this. Bad cops are off limits in conservative media unless you're using it to make a point about how the victim was wrong, with very, very few exceptions. Bad cops are off limits. Racism is off limits as a pure topic. You will talk about it to talk about how the left is talking about it, or again to victim shame, but otherwise you're not going to see in conservative media a video about, hey, some guy did something racist, right? The left will make things racist that are not. The right will pretend the racism doesn't exist. This is Debate Me channel. Debate Me in the comment section below. Click on the like button, subscribe, smash that bell. Be well.